Alright. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today's motovlog is going to be about something that I talked about a couple days ago, on the kind of the same theme there, with why I bought the XT250. It's going to be about picking your first motorcycle. We're going to go over new versus used. We're going to go over what you need, what you should do before you purchase a motorcycle. A bunch of different topics. We'll just see where it goes. Alright, so before anything else, before picking a motorcycle, you really have to figure out, is motorcycle riding for you? You might, if you're watching this, you're going to be like, yeah, of course, I'm watching a motovlogger, like it's kind of a dumb question for me to ask. But really, it's not. Because it's not just about, you know, it's not just about, like, if you like motorcycles, it's about being responsible. It's about being a good driver. It's about being attentive and being prepared. Because, you know, the last thing I want to do is recommend that you purchase a motorcycle or get yourself into a situation where you're not ready for it and you become another statistic. You fall on your bike or you have an accident, and you know, nobody wants to be that guy. I definitely don't want to fall, and you know, I take every precaution that I can, just in case, like I wear all the gear. But yeah, you really have to figure out if you're really ready to ride. Do people say, hey, you drive really well, you're really responsible, you're very mature? Because if you're not responsible, you're not a good driver, and you're not mature, you're going to get into an accident. Because riding a motorcycle, it just opens it all up for you. They're really incredibly fun machines. And that kind of rolls into my next thing. They're fun machines, and before you buy one, you should try to ride one under correct supervision. Like, say if you have a buddy who has a bike and he trusts you enough with it, you should say, hey man, can you teach me how to ride, or can I hop on your bike and check it out? Because really what that's going to do is you're going to be able to see, you know, how much fun motorcycle riding is and what a joy it is to have that much power between your legs. But it's also going to show you like what you might want or what you might not want in a motorcycle, like what you dislike and what you like. So for example, if your buddy says, hey, go ahead and ride my my dual sport, and you don't like the way it rides, you think it sits up too high, or someone lets you ride their super sport, you're like, well, I don't like the riding position, I don't like the throttle response, or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. It's always good to know that beforehand, because that's all stuff that you take into account when you go to purchase a motorcycle. Most of the motorcycle buying process is actually research. Like, you should be researching your purchase, because bikes are expensive. They're huge investments. I mean, if you have a ton of money to roll around, then awesome, good for you. But not a lot of people do. And you should really do your research before you hop into a big purchase. Like, if you really want a bike, it's not enough. You can't just really want one. You have to. That was a tricky spot right there. You can't just want one. You have to be in the right mindset. And you have to do your research, you have to do your homework, because you don't want that buyer's remorse feeling that people get. And I've had buyer's remorse with a ton of different things, and it's just a really bad feeling to have. But if you do enough research and you ask enough questions to people who have motorcycles, who have been riding for a long time, go on forums and check out what other people were riding and why they picked what they picked. Because, dude, people have the same ideas as you, or you want to find people who have the same ideas as you and who have the same lifestyle. So you you can get a bike that's going to accentuate your needs or cover all your needs. Because what good is buying a ZX-10R or, you know, a 1200 GS if you're not going to use it? If you're not going to use it, you know, if you're not going to use it to its full potential, or you're not going to use it as it was designed, then that's totally okay. If you're going to use your bike in a different way than it was designed to be used, that's totally up to you. That's your deal. But I just want to set you up for success in, you know, making the right purchase for you, because this is targeted towards, you know, new riders, people who are first-time buyers, or people who are interested in riding. And the best thing I can do is I can just suggest that you do your research, because it'll help you a lot, and you can ask the right questions when you're right about to purchase. So doing your homework just isn't like what bike I want, it's the bike that you might want, what are the common problems with it? Like, for example, for my bike, you have to know that in 2014, what they did was Yamaha switched over from the carbureted version to the fuel-injected version. And that's like a little thing, but it still can mean the difference between someone overcharging you for a bike. And if you're doing your research properly, you get to check out what used bikes are going for and stuff like that. And ideally, what you want to do is you want to find someone with that same bike that you want to buy, and test ride theirs. So you can figure out, hey, is this the right bike for me? And you can also figure out what it's supposed to feel like, for better or worse. Because when you get to the dealership, they're going to try to talk you into a bunch of different things if buying new is your thing. But it's important to do your homework first. So far we have figuring out if motorcycle riding is for you, and the other thing that you need to do is do your homework. And then, number 3, you need to figure out if you can afford it. Can you afford a motorcycle? Because, well, they're not cheap. They're definitely not cheap. You can get a cheap motorcycle, but motorcycles in general are big ticket items. They're very expensive. But then again, your perspective might be different because you have a different life than I do. But for me, buying a new motorcycle is something that I don't really think about because I have this one. And motorcycles have a tendency to be, you know, pretty pricey. So the next thing that we got to go over is, do you want to go new or used? As you know, I went with a new bike, and I'm totally happy with it. Part of me wishes I went with a used bike just to save some money. But at the time, I didn't have $2,000 to spend on a 2-year-old XT250. But it's the bike that I wanted, so I decided to go used and finance. Money is the big thing. You don't have to finance. You can get a loan. You can get a loan from a credit union. You can ask your buddies to borrow money and pay them off. But really what you want to do is you want to take the time that you're saving money to do research. Because honestly, that's the best thing that you can do, is you just take the extra time, mull it over, figure it out if it's for you, and then figure out how much it's all going to cost. Figure out your insurance quotes, figure out how much your monthly payment's going to be if you're going to buy new or you're going to make loan repayments. Figure out if, you know, if it's the responsible thing to do. And of course, get the opinion of other people. Okay, so wow, that was kind of a long way to get to this part, but new or used? Let me talk to you about buying new. Buying new is really nerve-wracking if you haven't bought anything new before. I I bought it with $500 down. I checked out some rebates and offers that were around. Once again, doing my homework, and I figured out that my local power sports dealership has an agreement with Costco to give Costco members a discount. And if this doesn't apply to you, go ahead and skip ahead. But my bike ended up being significantly cheaper because I had researched that that my Costco membership gave me a discount. And as weird as that sounds, it saved me about $1,000 bucks. Of course, my dealership was really hesitant to give me that deal because they were, they were salesmen. They wanted to charge me as much as they could for a bike. But, I told them, hey, I'm a Costco member. What price do you give me with that? And, he reluctantly pulled out the price from a predetermined Costco little clipboard of prices for certain bikes in certain years, and then he gave me that price flat out. And then I also researched that Yamaha had a couple of rebates going for 2015 models in the year 2016, so they tacked on a $200 rebate onto there. And then I figured out that my APR with $102 for the minimum payment was going to be about 7%, which is kind of high. But you got to remember, I'm the kind of guy who's really responsible. I make my payments on time. I pay more than my minimum payment because I want to get this thing paid off as soon as I can. And really, that's up to you. That's up to your philosophy. I got full coverage on this bike because that's what Capital One dictated that I had to get. And it's just like, it's smart. It's smart to get full coverage because it's a new bike. People are going to steal it. What happens if you get into an accident? You just really want to protect yourself in the future. Okay, so that kind of solves buying new. Buying new is really fun because you get to see this bike in showroom condition. Like, that's why you're getting it. It's because no one else has put their hands on it. It's a brand new bike. It's a lot of fun to get that bike and have them roll it out of the showroom for you and be like, wow, that's mine. And then you have the new dealer plate on there, and that's cool and everything like that. But buying used, you save a ton of money. Let's just put it at that. Is forfeiting, the newest bike or an unused bike worth, an extra, whatever it is, 20-25% for the sticker? Because when you buy a used, you're going to save about 25%, give or take, depending on your haggling skills, depending on what the bike is, depending on, a bunch of different factors. But you're going to save about 20%. And 20% is a lot of money. But the thing is, you have to really know what you're looking for. And once again, it goes back to doing your homework. If you do your homework, you know what to look for. And better yet, bring someone along with you who knows motorcycles to help you out. Say, hey man, what do you think about this bike? Do you mind coming with me to go check it out and test ride it? And, that way you have a second set of eyes to check things out. You have someone who's more experienced than you. And, you just figure out, hey, you have to weigh all your options. Like, has it been dropped? Of course, it's probably been dropped once or twice. You have to check, you have to know how to look at paperwork. You have to know how to fill it out. You have to make sure that the person, didn't steal the bike. Make sure it's not a salvage title. So you have to know how to go to the DMV and check, if there's any liens on the bike. And that's a whole different story, but it's still all homework that you have to do in order to save that 25%, to save that, that extra money from getting a used bike. I'm not going to say you should buy used or new because you can go either way. Like, you can save a ton of money buying used, but you also have to know what you're doing. And there are plenty of people out there who are really shady on the internet, and they just want to make a quick buck, so they lie to you. And there are other people who have an essentially showroom condition bike that's 1 or 2 years old that they just decided to sell because it's either not for them, or, you know, they can't make payments anymore, so they sell it for a lot cheaper. And that's really up to you. But remember, if you're just gonna do it, do your homework first. If you're just gonna do it, figure out if motorcycle riding is for you. Get the opinion of other people to see if you're meant to ride a motorcycle. Do your homework and figure out what kind of bike you want. Figure out any problems. Contact people who might have that same bike. Test ride bikes if you can, if people will let you. And decide if you want to go new or used. And remember that this bike, the bike that you get, you're going to have to rely on. It's going to be your livelihood, at stake with this motorcycle. So make sure it's a good one. Make sure you know how to use it. Make sure you know its ins and outs, because you want to be safe on it. And after that, after you purchase the motorcycle, purchasing insurance and stuff like that, it's all important, but that's up to you. I'm not going to give you advice on what insurance you should get. I got full coverage because that's what I had to get. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching once again, because really, no one's watching. Have a good day. Oh, and really quick before, if you have any questions or comments, throw them in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer you. And give the thumbs up if you think it was a good video. If you enjoyed the content, just go ahead and throw a like down there. And have a good one, guys. Peace out.